Well, we're excited to have Joseph Massie back on the Flower Podcast. Welcome, Joe.
Oh my gosh. There's not many conversations that I start by purring, Scott, but you're one of them, let me tell you.
Wow, wow. I don't think I've ever had a guest purr. That's the first time that's happened.
It's a Saturday here in Manchester. I'm feeling good. This is the last thing on my schedule for this weekend, and I have a day and a half off. So yeah, I'm in a great mood. And I don't usually pair at men I don't know that well, but I make an exception for you. So it's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, I'm delighted to be talking to you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I, we did a live a couple weeks ago, and it was really great because we kind of opened this can of worms, so to speak, where we got to get a glimpse into your new flower class program. And I know that with everything going on this past year, people have really been enjoying your classes you offered last year. And I know that there's more of those in the future at some point. But in the meantime, this is a great program that I would like to hear more about. And I'm sure our listeners would like to hear more about. So, how did this whole flower class thing start? And why did you launch this?
That is such a great question, Scott. And for us, I think the journey really started back in July last summer, right after we launched our initial collection of online courses. Because I guess in a way, like inadvertently, we created this great little passionate, excited, driven online community of people who had the same kind of goals and the same kind of ambitions, to get better at their floral design skills, to understand more of floral design theory, and also to, really work on their businesses or work on their business ideas. So Flower Class kind of came about as an extension of that. So instead of being able to just purchase, a one-off course and that's it, if you're committed to continuous ongoing professional development, then Flower Class, I'm really hoping, is going to kind of fill that void for a lot of people. We have a ton of fresh, interesting content that is available every single month to members. So pretty much on a weekly basis, you'll hear from us with, either a design tutorial or a live theory webinar, or a support call or a how I made it article. It's very much a really nice, supportive online people who are passionate about bettering their craft, really. And that's kind of what it's all about.
That's great. That's so good. And it's funny how you can start something like that, and there's like a whole group of people that you almost, not that you didn't know were there, because I mean, we all know that there's tons of floral entrepreneurs all over the globe, but it's really exciting for me to hear the number of people who are interested in continuing education, because I I feel like that's the way I would be. I mean, just you always want to keep learning, and that's exciting.
It really is, because it also means that we get to know people better as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do like, you travel to a place and you do a workshop or a lecture or something, you're in people's lives for a really short amount of time. It might be a day or a week or, whatever it's going to be. And the whole goal with Flower Class is that people are going to be able to stay connected. A big part of Flower Class is a slightly separate entity that we have called the Flower Class community, which is very much like like MSN Messenger, like an online chat room kind of thing,
Right.
where people can, post questions and discuss things and just generally chat. And in there, every single member can post under like 3 different topics. They can post under business questions, under design-based questions, and under, floral design theory questions. And then every single month, we'll have a live support call where we can answer all those questions in person. And of course, those calls are recorded. So if people can't make a call, they can just listen back, a later time. But it is exciting. It's really exciting for us because, especially with the pandemic that's been going on for the past year now, or, coming up to a year, we really haven't been able to hold that many hands-on classes, and we haven't been able to travel. So we're really hoping that Flower Class kind of fills that void for people and gives them a chance to, connect to a meaningful community in a way that is really professional and really exciting. to kind of, fill that void and allow them to kind of, have that connection, and also work on their skills as they do so.
That's great. One of the things that I see, especially through this crazy year with the pandemic, um, is a lot of people, a lot of younger people trying to connect to nature, trying to, find just sort of a creative outlet. I know it's really fascinating, and I'll share this here for the first time, but through everything, I have recently started as an instructor at one of the local community colleges, and I'm teaching a class for horticulture students, that is about woody ornamental identification. So it's about trees and shrubs and landscape and things like that. We had our first class the other day, and it was really interesting to hear the number of students that are in horticulture because they were on a career path and they just weren't happy. And so
Mm.
now they're choosing horticulture because, number one, there's some creative opportunities, there's some real value in just giving back, whether you're growing food or flowers or nursery material, whatever. And I was really excited about that. And that's the one thing I feel like there's not, for somebody beginning, for somebody who is starting out and um, looking for a place to kind of begin, put their feet down. Where do I begin? Yes, there's a lot of amazing classes out there to see, but as a starting point to get fundamentals, I feel like this is a great place for anybody who's just starting to just jump in.
Yeah, I mean, you've hit the nail on the head, Scott, because that's pretty much what we're aiming for Flower Class to be. In every single month, we have kind of 4 fresh elements of content for people. So you'll hear from us on a weekly basis. And there is a real kind of staggered or kind of staged level of nuance to the content that we're providing. So, for example, the webinar will usually be either on a theory topic or on a business topic, which might be a little more complex or a little more complicated, which maybe someone who's just starting out might be like, wow, like I might need some time to digest that, or I might need some further support to be able to discuss that. Well, that's cool. Like that's what we have the Flower Class community for. And it's why we have a support call every month with myself and my tutors to kind of dive into, any questions or any obstacles that people are having in their learning. But we also hope it's inspiring too, because I mean, gosh, I've been in this industry for like longer than I kind of care to remember, actually. But at the same time, like it keeps me so fresh, and it's so enjoyable to kind of see people just starting out on their craft and finding their feet, and really starting to build a practice that works for them. And that's kind of the reason why we're doing Flower Class. We want to be that really cool, supportive place that can help people with any aspect of where they want to take their career, whether that's with floral design skills or floral design theory, which isn't always covered in the detail that maybe it should be,
Right.
and also on business as well, like what goes into setting up a business, or how to deal with contracts, or how to use social media, like all of those type of things we're looking to cover on a monthly basis. It's exciting. It's probably the most exciting thing I've done for a while. I mean, I could just be saying that because I've been trapped at home for the past year, but it feels pretty exciting.
That's great. Well, everything's relative, right? And so, but nevertheless, I think it's exciting too, because I think I like the variety of content and the variety of things you get to be exposed to, and the community group and everything. One of the things that I noticed in a lot of the images you've been presenting on social media as you've been promoting this is a lot of sustainability techniques. Um, would you mind addressing that? Because I'm kind of, is that real? Is that another one of the aspects of this?
For sure. I mean, for me, my journey into sustainability has been, a journey over the past couple of years. It kind of started in like 2018, or 2017, 2018, and I started to really kind of consider the impact of what and what my company was doing upon, our local environment, along how we support and how we connect with, our local community, and really about the effect that we were having on kind of the world around us. In my teaching, I made the decision about 3 years ago, but you won't see any foam in any of those. Primarily, it's not because I think foam is the devil. I think, this might be a little kind of controversial, but in the bigger scale of things, I think the world has bigger problems than a florist using a brick of floral. But I believe it's the way that I think what the future looks like, is being sustainable and caring about sustainability and doing the best that you can to be responsible within your own practice. And if you own a business, within that business as well. Please don't think I'm making light of, sustainability or using floral foam. In flower class, we are always talking about sustainability, and it's something that is, I don't want to preach about it. I don't want to be like that old nagging, aunt of yours that's like, put down that foam, and but at the same time, like, I kind of like it to be there, and I'm very happy to talk about it. And, we certainly do talk about it. So within Flower Class, we have an element called Flower Class Conversations, which is where every single month we have a brand new episode with like a leading figure within the floral world. I know I interviewed you very recently for it. And our first and our first episode is with Toby Nelson, and we dive in fully into sustainability there. So sustainability, it's a big part of what I do, but equally, I don't want people to feel that flower class maybe isn't for them if they do use foam, or if they're not maybe as clued up on sustainable activities within their business. It's a place to learn, and we all start with education, and I think everything starts with education. From there, when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely. And for most people, myself included, it is, as you learn, you can make adjustments and reduce and find ways to improve. And it's just, it's not like it's cold turkey or whatever, but it's definitely something that once you get the knowledge, you can definitely implement the steps. So that's great. I'm really glad that's part of what you're doing. Okay, so I know we kind of touched on this, but I'm wondering if you, in your mind, who would you say this classroom is for?
Oh my gosh. I would say we've really geared flower class to be for like 3 sets of people, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So flower class is ideal for kind of the newbie floral designer, for someone who's got, I don't know, less than a year or two of education and is really looking for a supportive place where they can grow their skills and grow their practice, within our community. Secondly, we think flower class is very much made for people who maybe have some experience but consider themselves, confident or accomplished floral designers, but maybe they're looking to see how other people do things, or to learn if there's a better way of making certain designs, or what hints, tricks is. And then our final section of people, we like to think, is for people who are either business owners who maybe practice their own, have their own business structure, or other creatives who are in kind of a creative industry who are looking to explore a new field or a new aspect to bring something fresh to what they do. So the content within Flower Class is geared a little bit at all of these kind of aspects. We have some things which are hopefully very straightforward and very easy and not intimidating at all for people to dive into. And then we'll definitely have some content, like some of the webinars, which is definitely a little more technical or a little bit more theoretical. So hopefully in Flower Class, we're providing, a real pathway for people to kind of start off and then kind of raise their game, month by month, episode by episode.
That's great. And I love the fact that it's for, I mean, and we say this all the time on the podcast, that it's for people at all stages and all, because we can all learn something from someone. And I think too, the one thing I think about is a lot of times, especially newer people or people that don't have all the experience, I know for me, when I first started, I feel like a lot of times your mind gets blown because you're like, oh wow, I never in a million years imagined this. And I remember seeing when we first interviewed on the Flower Podcast, eons ago now. The images that you sent over of a lot of your Chelsea winning pieces, and I'm just like that umbrella, for example, and I think, gosh, that's just so amazing. And who thinks like that? Joseph Massie does. And it's great. No, but it's great because it's like the average person doesn't get to see things like that. uh,
No, that's so interesting to me because when I think back at like that period, like I'd only been in floral design like full time for like 5 years, 4 years back then. Like, and if I was to reapproach those kind of designs now, I would, gosh, they would look very different, and hopefully they would be a lot better. But I think that for me, there is such a delight about kind of teaching some of the more kind of beginner level materials. Like last year, I wrote a selection of ebooks on the principles and elements of floral design, and I kind of locked myself away in a room for like 3 months, kind of and it was, I mean, there's a pandemic going on, so what the hell? And I kind of thought to myself, like, it was so interesting for me because it was kind of like a little test. You know what I mean? It was like, well, you do all, because, when you have been doing floral design for like several years, a lot of stuff becomes like secondhand. Like,
sure.
you just kind of do it without maybe consciously analyzing some of the things that you do. And like sitting down and kind of working through, the elements, working through the principles, working through, 358 and the golden ratio. I mean, it was a real masterclass for me in a way, because I was like, how can I kind of put into words exactly what I do and exactly what I know a lot of great floral designers around the world do, in a way so that someone could just pick it up and read it, and with hardly any experience could still take a lot of lessons from it. So yeah, it's really refreshing, and I love speaking to students who are just kind of starting out on their journey, because they have some of the most interesting and exciting questions, that maybe I didn't think of way back when I was beginning. So it's just a really rich place, is what I would say.
I love that. Well, for everybody who is listening and interested, we're putting links on our website right there on the homepage, so you can join Joe's community and his flower class, which we're really excited about. Is there anything? Okay, so it officially launches February 1st.
That's right. So
And we're all getting a taste of it. Sorry, we're all getting a taste of it right now because you're putting that out. How can we get that little glimpse? How can we get on that list?
sure. So, I mean, first of all, like that was something that was front and foremost in my mind. I mean, we came up with the idea of, the community, then the membership of Flower Class. And then I thought, oh my gosh, Flower Class, like what does that mean? Like a lot of people out there might have never even considered being part of a membership like this. And I was like, you know what? We really need to give people a way so they can have like a little peek at it. And you've known me for several years now. You know that whenever I do anything, I always like to do it in a nice way, in a big way, and I like to give away things so that people can can try it and see what it's all about. Share the wealth and all the rest of it. So we created this great little mini course. It's called the Flower Class Sessions. It actually was available to start accessing from the 14th of January, but you can sign up anytime. So we're keeping registration open until the 1st of March on that. So when you hear this episode, you can head to josephmassie.com, or you can head to learnjosephmassie.com/membership. And on there, you'll see all the information, what you need to do, which is literally enter your email address, your first and last name, and then you can sign up to the Flower Class Sessions for free. And what the Flower Class Sessions are is it's a 3-part mini course. We cover a business theme tutorial, we cover a floral design theory tutorial, and we cover a practical floral design tutorial as well. And then we have a live webinar at the end. And so we went live just 2 days ago with the very first episode. And the feedback has been like really lovely so far. So It's free, join it. You're not signing up to anything. It doesn't, once you finish it, it doesn't kind of translate into a membership, or you don't have to cancel it. It's nothing like that. You can just sign up to it. It's yours. It's always there, whether you listen to it or not. And then if you sign up to the flower class sessions, you actually get 50% off your first month if you do decide to sign up for flower class as well. So if you like the trial and you want to give it a go for a month, then you get the first month half price.
So maybe we should talk about that. Like, how much is it? Or did we mention? I don't think we mentioned that. And the
Well, yeah, well, Flower Class is $29 a month, which is about £21 a month.
oh, we did say that.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's on like a monthly basis. We do have an annual membership, which I know that probably have a link to this kind of below this episode or in the show notes, where you can sign up for an annual membership, and the annual membership is 2 for $8 a year. You get a couple of great little extras in with that as well. You get a copy of some of my ebooks, and it's like $100 off. So it's like, I mean, there's a lot you can do with $100. So it's pretty exciting, I think.
That's great, Joe. That's awesome. Well, if for everyone listening, I'd at least sign up so that you can get a taste of what this flower class is about. And I'm excited for what's happening. So, Joe, thank you so much for being on the Flower Podcast again.
Such a pleasure. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity